All right, so let's have a little bit of an introduction with the guests we have today. Why don't you two talk about what team you guys are on, what roles you play on that team, and just like any general, I guess like quirks about your team.
I think I'll just start then.
Yeah, no, that's not my problem.
My name is Nomnom. I started playing in Myopsidus, I think over a year ago, and I started out as a Slayer, but I've been juggling around with my weapon pool, and now I'm mainly stuck to ballpoint, and that's it. Basically, I don't think there's any more of me. I only have like the only comp experience I have is in Myopsidus, so I'm boring. Goggy, you have a lot more to tell, I think.
Hey, I'm Goggy. I've been playing in Myopsis for about almost 2 years now. Be 2 years in December. I've previously on other kind of low level teams, Royal Flames, who rebranded into Indiglo. Uh, and a ton of projects that didn't really take off. I mainly play 96s, but like I've been experimenting more with Squeezer and Zap just because of how the meta's proving at the minute. But that's really what I've been doing.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for like a little bit of the introduction and like a little information about you guys. So, I guess going into like this tournament, this event, the Inkling Development Program. What team were you guys assigned to coach? And I guess did you guys hear? Did you know any information about the team you got before this event?
Um, so we were assigned Div Y, and the only time I saw them was when I filled in the fantasy bracket for Ludi. Then I saw their name pop up once, but I've never heard of them.
No,
I don't think I did.
I never heard of them either before this. But yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. Like, I don't care who I coach as long as I get to coach us. That's what matters, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I guess like um I know it's pretty more recent, but I guess like what were some more like interesting interactions with that you guys had with them, or like how was it like just getting to meet them?
Well, they have a bunch of shit posts. Like,
Yeah, I just
I,
we just sent memes back and forth, and that sort of like that's just how I communicate anyway with everyone.
I thought my Opsimus had
Happens
a lot,
all the
but
time in
like,
MP, all the time in my office. We just send
originally our
shit
whole
posts.
logo was supposed to be a meme, but that got scrapped.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess like you guys have similar sense of humor, similar way of communicating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we both have no humor, so I think like that's how we get along with each other.
For sure. I guess going into more specifically about you guys as coaches, have you guys done coaching before, or is this like the first time you ever like coached anyone?
We have coached intro and intro four in the past.
Yeah.
That's a small team. But it's just like we're at the moment we're just in the server, and that's it because the team is not that active anymore as far as I'm aware, and they don't really ask for coaching. So we did it for I think like 2 weeks, and then it'll end, or I don't know.
I have been doing a little bit more coaching. I've coached a few teams in the past. Uh, GGP, Global Pens, Intra IV as well, and there was one other team. What I can't remember now. Sorry.
No worries. I guess like
Yeah, no, if 4 teams in total, including this one.
for sure. I guess like uh go you have a bit more experience with it, but I guess like what like do you think is the most tough part about I would say like team coaching? I guess like none of you guys have done one-on-one coaching, but I know like that's a pretty different experience too. I guess like what was one of the things you thought was like hard as a coach to give information to people?
Not being too like hard. Like you need to get the point across, but you can't be like super harsh to the point where it like discourages them. You know, like if you go like, "Oh, you seriously cannot be doing this," and then it's like, oh, "Okay, now I hate the coach, and now I don't want to like play with them anymore." So it's like, so you got to really like go like, "Yeah, you need to swap this up. You can't just say no, you can't do this, but you have to say you can't do this. Try this instead. You have to fill a gap, sort of." So you've always just got to have ideas.
Mm.
We also don't really know how they reacted to our feedback until this point because even though we have been doing VOD reviews, they are from the United States. I think you guys are as well. But it also means that we don't have the time to get in VC with each other. So we've just put a bunch of text in the team chat. And like they're like, thank you. But we don't really know if they like take it into account in the new games that they played or how are they going to do it in the tournament. So like getting the message through is like we don't really know if we did the right job.
Yeah, for sure. I mean that I know we try to divide teams, but it sometimes the time zones didn't really work out, or like just there weren't enough like even teams. So that
Yeah.
there was that sort of issue that we did run into. But I'm sure they um appreciate
Took it
that.
on.
Yeah, like I'm sure they took it, and then you guys can see like how they can apply it tomorrow during tournament. So hopefully that's a good way for you guys to see like, okay, like what are things that maybe you need to reestablish, or things that like, oh yeah, they caught on to that pretty well.
Well, the thing we have been discussing the most is special usage.
Yes.
It's very funny because Goggy and I were in VC today talking about how we think they should use the specials, and every time we see the same problem occurring, and that is that a cooler just doesn't get used, and then the person that had cooler dies, and then the team gets staggered. I think that's the main problem we're really trying to get through. I don't. What do you think? Goggy?
It's a common thing with like almost every team I've coached. Like I've coached 3 teams in this meta alone, just to call it, and they've all had the same issue of they all just die with cooler, and then they just get staggered. They don't know how to back up, stop staggering, charge special, play defense, take back mid with specials. Like it's hard to. It's very very difficult to do, but when you get it down. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Whoops.
Oh my god!
Sorry.
Joining stuff.
Sorry, I don't know
It was
what
a misinput.
happened. Yeah.
But
Sorry,
when
keep
you
going. Sorry, keep going.
but when you get the like the whole like backing down, getting the special charge, then pushing back in, when you get that down, your skill level just shoots through the ceiling immediately. Like I'd say that's the main concept to get down. If you get that down, you're fine.
So like the concept of like, even if you have cooler, that doesn't just mean you go in willy-nilly. There's always like something you have to like, you gotta use the cooler with intent, right? Is that pretty much what you're trying to like get through to them?
You can't just use the cooler and then go in and feed because of QR. Like you have to go in and then you still gotta take picks. You've got to double team. You get special because it has full special charge. So you can keep the special charge and then go back in with full charge special. So you can have cooler, charge the special, go in, take a 1v1, trade, you come back in, you still have a Zuka. Just the whole cooler meta is quite complicated to get through.
No, definitely.
It's not as simple as just charge your missiles and stingray and armor and just use them lol.
Or
like it's harder. It's so much harder to get across.
I mean, or just like crab tank meta. Oh, just paint for crab and move in with crab. It's crab.
Is it like the newer metas are definitely harder to be coached through, but it's good. It's a good meta to play
For sure.
until they whip out the triple Zuka.
Don't remind me. Yeah, for sure. I guess like you already talked about it. One of the challenges that like going through was like, the team using cooler at correct time, or like just taking value with the cooler, right? And I guess like hopefully tomorrow you guys can see how they can apply that.
Yeah, I think they definitely will. I think they definitely will.
I hope they will.
Yeah, if they're gonna use Kudo in the first place, because this team also struggles a bit with moving in together, and
Yeah,
then they move in together when they have a special ready, and instead of moving with the special, they just move without the special and dying with the special.
I see.
But
Like this team isn't all bad though.
no,
No.
they're not. They're like
There's definitely
we watch them
I've,
individually.
we've seen me and Nom, we've both seen like moments where
Yeah,
it's
we're like-
okay, they used Storm into a chumps, and then it's like they got like whole of mid because of 2 specials, and then they still have 2 Zukas.
Yeah,
Just
and
to
we have some
clear out
crazy
flanks.
Zuka shots.
There's been some absolutely insane moments. It's just that they're not getting them consistently.
For sure. I mean, like, I think that's part of the, I guess the low level, not mindset, but like, just
The
how,
level experience.
so, yes, there you go. Yeah, the low level experience, it's that consistency of like, hey, this worked. How can we, like, build on it, do it again, or like just be like more consistent? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then, I guess like if you guys had one piece of advice to either give, or let's do if you have one piece of advice to give, I guess coaching, especially Gogi, because you have a little more experience on it. Like when new people are getting into coaching, like what is one thing that you want them to like keep in mind while they're like, maybe they're not sure if they're good enough or something like that.
You've got to keep in mind that when you coach people, their weapon pools, especially with their weapon pool, I see this all the time. Their weapon pools, that's the weapons they want to play. You've got to work around those weapon pools. You don't want to go like, oh yeah, you need to pick up this weapon and then you have an effect, because then you just get into this whole triple splash machine again, where it's just everyone's using the same comp. But you need to keep in mind that it's still a game, and we're all here to just kind of play it. Yes, you want to win, but like, if you want to win with your weapons, not 52.
For sure.
Anyway.
And I guess for Nom, do you like, I guess with a little less experience, but it's like what was like one of the more eye-opening things for you as like a coach compared to like a player?
That's a difficult question. An eye opener. Yeah, it's also some mistakes I see the team make. It's funny because I also see them in ourselves. And I think that look, we have also done VOD reviews, but we have never like really like taken a look. It's a bit different VOD reviewing and coaching, in my opinion, because I can't really give an argument, but it feels different because we never really had this in VOD reviews. But when me and Gordy were watching the VODs that they sent us, we were actually also in a discussion for 30 minutes afterwards about how we should put those ideas into Myopsidus. And I think that is why there's also that's also one of the reasons why this Inkling development program is so cool, and the coaching is so cool, because it's not just for the team, it's also like for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that like an eye opener for a coach, and also motivates me to do more coaching.
And like I think as like you do more coaching, that's something that you'll probably notice even more even more like in yourself, because like I think I've heard people are like, yeah, that's something like they did, but like when I looked at my own VOD later on, I was like, wait, I'm making like the same mistake. And it's like
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, like why don't I try to apply my own advice?"
Yeah. It's very funny that you point that out because this is like I also play rugby in my free time.
Hmm.
And the funny thing is I am now coaching the small little kids, which is very funny. But when I say things to them, I like when my own training starts, I'm like, hold on. I do the exact same.
Yeah.
And it's funny that it's the same with this. It's honestly very, very cool.
Yeah, for sure. I guess moving on from, I guess that's a bit of the coaching part, but like going on to the last question we have for you, um this is more about like I think overall like this idea, but do you think this event helps bridge the gap between the different skill levels of the community? Like I know I hear a lot of the time, especially when low ink is a like the week of low ink, I hear like mid-level, high-level players being like, "Why should I even watch low ink? I don't even know any of these teams," or like, "Who do I even cheer for?" And then in terms of like low level, I know as like a low-level player, sometimes they don't know how to ask for help or like get that higher level perspective. So do you think this event sort of helps bridge that gap between the two levels?
Yeah, most
It,
definitely, of course. It's
yeah,
the only problem is there will always be like divisions. It's not like that everybody can suddenly be Div 3. So
Yes.
there will always be there will always be like differences between the divisions. But I think like the difference between like Div 5, 6, and 7 um will definitely like shrink because of this program. And I think that if that level shrinks, then the low level competitive scene will get more interesting also for other players because like we have such a big community in Splatoon, and it would be just a shame if you would only look at the top. Because at the bottom, I've seen some more hype games than Alliance Rogue can ever like set up for us. It's like insane.
yeah. No, low level's insane. You just see some weird stuff you never thought you'd ever see.
Hmm.
Yeah, and in
Like,
low level they are also like they use stuff. They like use weapons instead of like seeing the same thing all over again. Like,
yeah,
yo, there's a tent. Or like, nah, no way they picked pro. Oh, they're winning. That like you can see like things that you would never normally see just because it's low level, and that doesn't have to be bad. And even with this program, like people can still be able to be their own team, but like get higher up in the divisions by the
Hmm.
coaching, and that's what is gonna make the low level shrink. I think that's very cool.
I
Yeah.
will say
Hmm.
the one that there is. I think with this pro in particular, it's the limitations of it though, because it's like you have to have a top level team and a low level team to run this program. Like
Hmm.
it's a bit I know that's how it's run, and that's the unique part of it.
Hmm.
But I think it's still run very very well, very
Hmm.
well.
For
I
sure.
think especially after the tournament and everything, I think it's just the popularity of this in particular is gonna go up. Like it's not gonna be like your average like tournament on Battlefy that you see with like 6 people. It's gonna become like it's gonna become one of the bigger low level ones. Something like
This might
having all
honestly be like the
having
second low wing.
low ink too.
Loving
No, 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 but
too.
like
If low
you
ink's
think
so
if you
good, why
no,
is
no,
it
no,
not?
if you think of it, it's a bunch of low level teams that want to play in it. Um,
Yeah,
because of the coaching. So like you will have a lot of people that want to play. I think the only problem is like getting the high level teams to coach them.
yeah.
But
Hmm.
because,
The
but
problem
if
the
you
problem will be
manage
the
to
high
fix
level
that,
ones.
if you manage to fix that, then like you can like have this as second low ink because this is the event where you as a low level team want to participate and to improve.
Hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's, I mean, we're definitely looking, um, not looking too far into the future yet, but hopefully we get enough interest and enough popularity to maybe run this again. We'll see.
Yeah, but like you already have a lot of followers on Twitter, right?
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah, but
guess.
like the only thing you did is post some pictures of teams. That's funny. But like
Yeah.
you have already a lot of people that like, what is it now? 204 followers. Yeah, that's like
No
a
wondering.
lot. That's a lot for just posting a few pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
to top this all off, all we need is a stream. We need an official stream, and then it's like
That will be me
it's gonna be.
tomorrow.
Let's go.
oh, that's nice. But I think maybe if you can also like interest Popcorn also a bit in promoting this
Yes.
because every
Mhm.
low level team listens to Popcorn. And so do I. I also
And
love to listen
Chara.
to Popcorn. Yeah, and Chara,
If you
but
can get
Chara
through
is
to
a bit
Chara,
more for the high levels.
Mhm.
If you can get Chara
dude.
in here, this would also be like amazing. But I think starting off with like sending Popcorn a message like, "Yo, do you want to promote it?" I
Mhm.
think he would be very interested in that. Also mentioning it on the podcast.
Yeah,
I think that would be a great start.
for sure.
Yeah.
I guess like
Oh,
I already took a lot of you guys' time, but I guess like if there's one piece of advice that you'd give in general for low level on just either like talking to other people or like improving as a team, like what would that advice be?
Do it. Just talk to people.
Mm.
They will answer.
yeah.
Maybe.
Networking is very, very important.
Yes.
But for just for in game, it's really mindset that comes to it. Are you willing to like go for it? Especially when you have an upset coming,
Mhm.
then you shouldn't think like, oh, it's an upset. It doesn't matter if we lose. You should more think of it. We're gonna win this upset. Like if you put your mind to it, you can achieve everything.
Yeah.
And that might just be, a
Okay.
quote that I saw on TikTok, and I'm like telling it now because
Top 10
my
most
feed is
inspirational
like
quotes.
motivational quotes. Yes, but it's real because I've just experienced that in Splatoon, but also in real life. So it's just like if you put your mind to it, you can do it.
For
You
sure.
just gotta practice. Like
Yeah.
you've gotta know that you are gonna lose sets. You're gonna upset and you're going to be upset.
Mhm.
Like but there's always another one, really. You always have another shot to get an upset. And you always have another shot to stop an upset.
For sure.
Like it's all mental. You get
Yeah.
through the mental bit, you'll be fine.
Mhm. Yeah. I guess thank you so much for your time. We definitely talked a lot.
No,
um
I hope it's useful, the information we give.
of course. I guess like let's like find out where
Again,
people can find you guys. Like do you guys have Twitter? Where can people find I guess Myopsidus if you guys have a Twitter or if you guys stream on Twitch?
Goggy streams a lot on Twitch, and
uh,
every Myopsis stream will be going through Goggy. You can find Myopsis on Twitter at Myopsis and then underscore Splatoon. And
SPL.
if you take a look at what account Myopsis is following, you will find all of our Twitters because I have a Twitter tag that's way too long with way too many numbers that I can't list right now.
My Twitter, on the other hand, is not along like noms. At Goggy underscore SPL. Same thing on Twitch. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for your time and for sharing a little bit about just like how you guys feel about this program.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. It was a really fun interview.